Okay, so one of the things I tell my customers when they come into my shop is never just assume that one thing that we have is good for only one thing. So like the monk's cloth, for instance, we use this for rogue hooking, but you can use it also for needle punch. You can use it, or sorry, punch needle, but you can also use it for practice cross stitch, use it for doing any kind of embroidery work. Well, with our wool applique, when I'm teaching people how to do the stitch, I like to go to my monk's cloth and I use a darning needle that has kind of like a little hook on there, so that they can see in bigger scale what it is that we're doing. So essentially, if you were going to be starting from scratch on your blanket stitch, I tend to work from right to left, but I work upside down. So if you were going to do it right side up, you're going to be working in this direction, left to right. So really, it's not like I've changed anything, it's just perspective. So right to left, left to right. So I pulled my thread through on purpose just because I need to have it on top where we can find it. So one of the suggestions is to get started, and we're just going to ignore that it's there, is to go ahead and you're going to go through and you're going to just we're going to start there. So ignore that. We're going to go through this again one more time. But this time I'm going to go catch that loop. So for the sake of people who are learning online, I'm going to go ahead and turn it in face, and I'm going to do traditional left to right. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come through here and you're going to go down through there, but you're going to stay above your thread so that when you're doing this, see what it does? It creates that blanket stitch. So again, in slow motion, I can kind of count across. I'm pushing my stuff through, and I love it because this has holes in it, so you can actually see what you're doing. And there you go. That is the beginning of the blanket stitch. So again, now let's just play devil's advocate. I'm going to start this all over again because you're going to want to be able to start without me helping you. So imagine, let's see if I can bring my thread over here. I'm going to just bring myself over to a new spot. So if I'm going to start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that this is the top and this is the bottom. This is where my fabric's going to come to an end. I'm going to pull this through. Now I'm going to pull it through again. Now on wool fabric, you may not end up hitting the same spot twice, but here the beauty of the monk's cloth is I go ahead and I just catch my loop and I pull it through, and that gets me started. And so now I'm going to turn it facing me again so that I'm working from left to right, but I'm going to have to go down and up, and see how that thread works there? So don't be afraid to just go. And what this does is it gives you a great clean finished edge. Pull that through, sorry, now it's fighting me on there. So a great example, and I'm a little wishy-washy here. I do a lot of different gauges, but I also know that this is going to be a flower garden. It's not finished, but you can see how that blanket stitch actually helps along the edge. It just really gives it a nice finished look. And that's all I have today.